plastics.
Oh,
Very
That's
good.
enough.
Now
So
you're
it's-
on. Now you're on tape.
okay.
Oh, golly.
All right. We'll be
You're in
quiet now.
charge.
You don't have to
Let's
be
just-
quiet. We're just recording so we can send this to folks after the meeting. So if they weren't able to attend, they can watch the recording.
Okay. Well,
Is
we'll
there a
listen.
way to go ahead, just for curiosity's sake, in the future, that when the camera went ahead and you were talking, it would go ahead and have your name on your image? Is that possible with Zoom?
I'm not sure exactly what you're asking. So our names are on our little squares of our photos now.
Right.
Then my
So-
photo must be in the way of your photo. Let me,
Okay.
if I hide it again, it may never see it again.
Okay. All right, Alexis, do you want to kick us off since Judith's here and she has a tight schedule this evening?
Sure. So welcome everyone. Thank you for coming a bit earlier than usual. There was a good reason for it. I'm going to drop the agenda in the chat. So feel free to introduce yourselves in the chat with your name, your pronouns, your group, where you're located, because we like to see where everyone's from, and then it gets a lot of synergy going in the chat. And I'm going to pass it over first to Ms. Judith Enck, our president, to talk about an exciting new development in Beyond Plastics history. And we had to start at 6:30 today because Judith has a class at 7, and I think a lot of people in the training are also in the class, so that should work out well. But over to you, Judith.
Thanks, Alexis. How absolutely wonderful to see all of you. Some of you have taken my class. I recognize you, and if you haven't, you can next semester. I'm Judith Enck with Beyond Plastics, and I was invited to talk with you tonight about a breaking news item involving a book. But first, I really want to tell you how excited we are to have Suzette Munley join our staff recently. Suzette should cover her ears. She's brilliant. She really knows how to get things done. She knows how to support local grassroots advocates, because that's who she is. Before her life as a restaurateur in Philadelphia, or during that life, she got very, very involved in environmental protection issues in her home community. So we are over the moon to have Suzette join the Olympic All-Star team of Alexis Goldsmith. Also, some of you know Rebecca Martin, who is handling our Speakers Bureau, and she's kind of streamlining and reformatting it. Some of you worked closely with Christina Dubin. Don't worry, she's still with us. She's on our development team because we're constantly out there trying to raise money. And also my sincere thanks to Dr. Megan Wolf, who a lot of you know, and Megan has left Beyond Plastics and formed her own group, but we're building on each other's work. And the work of the local groups and affiliates is absolutely crucial, because we don't win on these issues just with the facts. If it was only the facts, we would have solved the climate change crisis by now. We wouldn't have our ocean filled with landfills, filled with plastic, and our landfills and incinerators filled with plastic, and our bodies slowly being filled with plastic. And so part of building the grassroots movement against plastic pollution is sharing information. So that had a lot to do with our decision to write a new book, which I'm happy to hold up the galley. It's called The Problem with Plastic, and it's published by The New Press, where it's not self-published, believe it or not. The New Press is a very progressive publishing firm, nonprofit. They published The New Jim Crow by Michelle Alexander, and a number of other really impressive titles. So they came to me And for 2 years, I said, no, we don't have time to write a book. And then I was convinced that this would really help each of you. When you're showing up at your city council, speaking to students, talking to neighbors, there's a lot of good information in here. It's nonfiction, but it's also very conversational. And the best part of the book is in the back where there's a whole bunch of footnotes. So if anyone challenges, where did you get this information that's not accurate, you can go to the footnotes. The New Press originally planned to release this book in January of 2026, and they came to us a few months ago and said, hurry up. We want to get this out in early December for the holiday buying season, and also kind of new year, new you, how do you reduce plastics? And I said, really, the holiday buying season. So I envision families all over America, sitting around the fire and sipping on hot chocolate and going through the book. Honey, did you know the amount of microplastics in your brain? Happy holidays. It's all in here and it makes an excellent gift. So let me talk to you about some logistics stuff. We are learning about book publishing. All of the proceeds from the book go to Beyond Plastic. It doesn't go to me or my distinguished co-author, Adam Mahoney, but this is a way for us to diversify our funding. And the book was written by a team at Beyond Plastics. My name and Adam Mahoney, who's an impressive young journalist from New Orleans. We get the honor of our name on the cover of the book. But it was also written by Alexis Goldsmith, Eve Fox, Jenny Gitlitz, Megan Wolf, Christina Dubin, Jennifer Congdon, and Melissa Valiant, our communications director, who was just heroic in basically being the project manager on the book. And unfortunately, we couldn't put everyone's name on the cover, but I wish we could, but their contributions are crucial. So here's what we've learned about book publishing. I never really understood this. Pre-orders are really important. So this book is not on the street until December 2nd, but if you pre-order, what happens is the big book buyers look at how many pre-orders are there, because that indicates public interest. So they're looking at the number of pre-orders. They're also looking at geographic distribution. And that's where you come in, because you're all over the country. So we want to urge you to pre-order the book. I can tell you that every local group and affiliate will receive a free book in the mail as our thank you to you for your hard work. But you might want to buy the book for your local public library, for your niece or nephew, for your local legislators. We have to get policymakers and environmental commissioners to read the book. Once the book comes out, December 2nd, we really need your help promoting it. You know how to promote books in your community. So whether you host a meeting, get your local bookstore to host a reading, and you do the reading. It doesn't have to be us. We want everyone to own this book. I'm going to do a very limited book tour because I have a day job. That'll all be posted on our website. I'm already booked at the Commonwealth Club in San Francisco in February. I'll be at Politics and Prose, a bookstore in Washington, D.C. in January. I'm going to Chicago. I'm going to New York City. I might be going to Seattle. I don't know where I'm going, but I'm gonna do 5 big in-person events. But the way you promote books is by getting on podcasts and national news shows. Because think about, if someone has a podcast, thousands of people hear you, as opposed to you may love your local book club, but it's probably just, 10 people drinking decaf coffee in the evening. We have an organizing guide that Suzette will share with you. We have some questions for discussion, and we just want this to be another resource for you, another asset for you to educate your community. So we want to make it as easy as possible, but we also want you to be ambassadors for this book. I guarantee you, you're going to like it. You're going to find it helpful and interesting. You'll laugh, you'll cry. Maybe it'll become a Lifetime TV movie someday, but that was a joke. But we don't have like a big book promotion budget. You're our book promotion ambassadors. So you know your community, you know how to get the word out. As you're planning your work for December, January, February, just fold us in. It's a great book, and I just want to share 2 sections of the book. This is my first book reading. I want to read you just a little bit in the beginning of the book. A brief history of plastics. There should be music in the background and different lighting. Once upon a time, millions of people lived on a planet called Earth, and get this, survived without plastic. No, this isn't an episode of a science fiction series. It was reality less than a century ago. Back then, there were no throwaway culture or mountains of waste. Many people grew their own food or bought it in bulk. They used paper bags for bread and had fresh milk and soda delivered in glass bottles that could be returned, sanitized, and reused. Footnote number 1. And then I'm most proud of the dedication of this book. Let me just share this. By design, low-income people and communities of color bear the burden of plastics. The destructive web of plastics gathers in their neighborhoods, rivers, air, and bodies. We dedicate this book to those living in the shadow of plastics facilities in Louisiana, Texas, and Appalachia, and elsewhere, in the sincere belief that they should live in a world beyond plastics, and that such a world is within our reach. So that sets the tone for the book, and I hope you buy a whole bunch and get one for your library and enjoy reading it and use it as an organizing tool. I have just a couple moments if anyone has comments or questions on the book. Stephen, are you trying to get off mute, Stephen? We can't hear you. We're still on mute.
You did already once. I was wondering, since the book concerns itself with PFAS, and all the forever chemicals, is there a resource from the book or as a result of the book where we can go ahead and send a letter to our city commissioners or whoever to go ahead and get a reading of what the actual levels are coming out of our wells and into our houses?
Well, the book certainly touches on the growing problem of PFAS chemicals, known as forever chemicals, which many are used to make plastics, but it doesn't have that specific direction. But what we think it's going to do is prompt ideas, Stephen, like the one you just had. So, oh my goodness, PFAS in plastics, we know it's an issue with groundwater and drinking water. I should contact my local public water supplier and get them testing for the right PFAS chemicals. So it's not specifically mentioned like that, but we hope it'll prompt action like that.
Well, one of the big things in our area here is we have many, many, many big springs that come up from under the ground at huge depths. but a lot of the water that's coming out of those springs is actually coming from Atlanta and other places around the South, and we're just downstream from it. But no one that I know of is posting or making public any information about the toxicity of the different rivers and springs that are around here where people are swimming in and eating the fish out of.
Mhm.
So I haven't yet gone ahead and started beating anybody up, but I'm going to go ahead and try to get some of the governmental people, whoever would be responsible, to actually give us a report of what the heck is already going on.
Okay, got it. Got it. Yeah. I think calling water departments and government agencies is a really good place to start. So thank you for your comment. Julie, did you have something? You're on mute.
Yeah, thank you. Mostly I just wanted to say thank you so much for writing the book. I'm excited to be able to read it. I just finished for the first time reading Silent Spring. I set up a little book
Oh,
group in order to
great.
do that for over a 3-month period of time. And it was, again, eye-opening, even though it's 63 years old. It was a great book to read. And so I'm looking at this as like a really good resource to use. I'm just in the process right now of, I just registered a website and am in the process of going through the Corporation Commission to get an organization going here in the Phoenix area that will advocate for the banning or the reduction of single-use plastics. So
Great.
I think it'll be a
Great.
really
Great.
good resource.
Yeah, I think so. It should never be compared to Silent Spring, but I think it's very practical. It's scientific, it's policy, it's all together. It was written for you, Julie Morrison. It was
That's
written
right.
for you to go to your state legislators, your city
Right.
council, and say, it's all here in one spot. Because
Yeah.
that's a big reason we decided to write the book, is to have it all in one spot for you. And when it comes out in December, this is just the galley, they call it, uncorrected galley. But when it comes out in December, I'm really proud that the cover will be plastic free.
Ah,
Yeah,
perfect. And then,
sure.
and then just I did already pre-order some copies through my local bookstore, which happens to be, I think it's the largest local bookstore in Arizona, and it's a phenomenally well-known one. So I did write in the order that I was advocating for you to come out. So if you do come out to Phoenix, Arizona, we would love to have you
Thank
here
you.
at Changing Hands Bookstore. And
Great, great. Thank you. I think you may have emailed me, right?
I did.
And
I did.
I was like, who emailed me? I didn't get back to you. I'm sorry. Thank you
Okay.
for the invitation. I'm probably not going to do a huge amount of in person, but we
Sure.
want all of you to do it, and you'll
Mhm.
be trained to do that.
Yeah.
And the other thing I wanted to say is, yes, you can order it through your local independent bookstore. You can also order it directly from the New Press and get a 30% discount. It's
Mm.
called thenewpress.org. And I think the code you type in, Suzette, is it plastics? There's a code.
Yeah, I'll look it up and put it in the chat.
Great. There's a code that
Okay.
gets you a discount. And then also we have a bulk order form. If anyone wants to get 10 or more, there's a 30% discount with that. One more
Yeah.
question, then I've got to hop. Stephen?
You just
No,
took
I'm
care of it.
okay.
I'm ordering the book and
Great.
I need the code. So
Thank you. Thank you. I think it's plastic or plastics.
all right, and then for Stephen also, for if he wants data, unfortunately, testing has not been done for several hundred of these chemicals. They're just doing PFAS and a few of the other associated ones. So I'm putting together a grant to start testing those.
Great.
There are other people besides me doing this, so
Great.
it'll
Great.
come out.
Wonderful. Bye,
Thank you.
everyone. Sorry, I've got to
Judith.
talk and hop. Good luck with all your local work. We're grateful for what you're doing. Bye. Bye, Suzette. Bye.
Bye.
Hi, thank you.
Thanks, Judith.
Thank you.
So there's a question on how to get your local bookstores to carry it. I think the best thing to do is to email them with um, some information about the book, which I can share now. There we have a web page dedicated to the book. One second.
Yeah, and I'm just gonna add, I put in the chat a link to a toolkit that says campaign toolkit, the problem with plastic. That has pre-written emails already that you can send to your local bookstore with all the information they need to order it.
Can you reply
But
to
yeah,
my comment with that toolkit again, just to bump
yeah,
it back up?
absolutely.
So here's the link that I just put in the chat. This has everything you need to know about the book, how to pre-order it, and how to use it for organizing. So it describes the book, it has the link for pre-ordering it. Um, but if you scroll down, there's this toolkit, which Suzette just dropped in the chat, that has different ways to share it and an email already written for pre-ordering it, encouraging your bookstore to order it. And it has all the quotes promoting the book from Bill McKibben, from Robert Bullard, from Sharon Levine. And then also on this page, there's a press kit if you happen to need that, and then hosting an event. So we can help with hosting an event. We want to gauge interest in who wants to host an event, who wants to host an event that's also a fundraiser. So I heard somebody say that they got their local bookstore to do like a book club on this. I think that's a great idea. My local bookstore also does book clubs. So you can fill out this form if you're interested in hosting an event focused on the book. And then, of course, Judith also said share it with your local legislators, especially for your campaign purposes. And then good news is that we're able to provide one copy, one advance copy to all of our local groups and affiliates. Suzette has emailed about this. It's one per group, but we are paying for that ourselves so that you can have a copy, and we're reducing the barriers to you getting a copy. So Suzette, if you'd also like to put the form for each group to order one, they can do that. Lori?
Yeah, I'm looking at Suzette's links from 638. The top one that says you can pre-order here, that's a Google Doc, and it says that I need to request access. Is there a better link than that, or can you help, Suzette?
Yeah, let me fix that for you now.
All right. Any other questions? And we'll email this to you as well. Debbie?
Yeah, I'm thinking of, we've done book clubs before on certain books. Catherine Hayhoe's book was an awesome one to do as a book club, during winter when you don't want to go out, just talk over Zoom on book clubs. But this looks like it'd be a great one, so I'd like to buy at least 10 possibly. So is that on this webpage where I can go ahead and get the 30% discount?
I'm not sure about on the pre-order page because I haven't attempted to buy in bulk, but there should be. If you don't see that when you're checking out, just send us a message and we'll help you get the bulk discount.
Okay,
Yeah,
Thank you.
Debbie, I'm gonna put my email address in the chat and you can just email me directly.
okay.
Other questions, comments? Okay. Well, thank you for your attention, everyone. We'll move on to our regular announcements before we move into breakout rooms. So our free grassroots advocacy training is coming up. If you haven't taken this training yet, now is your chance. The dates will be October 25th from 1 to 3 p.m. That's a Saturday. Tuesday, October 28th from 7 to 9 p.m. or Thursday, October 30th from 7 to 9 p.m. And the registration link is in the agenda. It's also on our website. So share that with other members of your group. The training is, we ask at least one person from every group to take it, but we really encourage everyone to, just so that you all have the information and tools that you need. And we're revamping the training because our new trainings director, Rebecca Martin, is giving it a facelift and an overhaul now that we've been doing this for 3 years. And then we are collaborating with Third Act, which is Bill McKibben's organization, on Sunday. Sunday is a national day of action to support and celebrate wind and solar power. There are going to be marches, rallies, singing in communities across the country in support of solar and getting laws changed to support clean energy. So we are participating in that. We'll be at the Albany, New York event at 12 noon at the base of the egg in the Empire State Plaza, and Judith Ank will be there as well. And you can head on over to sunday.earth to learn more or follow at Sunday of Action to stay updated. So again, we'll be there on September 21st, which is a Sunday, at the egg from 12 to noon. And then there's other events across the country as well. And then we have 2 new fact sheets that we've just released. One is plastics in building materials and products, and the other is a fact sheet on how plastics have infiltrated the human brain. I see an article just about every day, it feels like, coming out about how plastics are increasing in our brains and that they are associated with increased dementia and risk of cognitive decline. So the health impacts really do seem to resonate with audiences across the board. So this is a great fact sheet for you to utilize. It was developed by our new science director. And then I would like to highlight some actions from the Beyond Plastics groups. Is Beyond Plastics Missouri, Wisconsin on tonight? They're hosting a virtual and free webinar on World Cleanup Day focused on tackling textile and fashion waste. So the link for that is also in the agenda. And then Foco Trask Mob Marine, are you on?
Yeah, I'm
They
here. Sorry.
Oh, okay. Do you want to highlight your campaign to eliminate mesh tangerine nets?
Sure. I wish I was better at technology. I'm going to try to put this in the chat. So first we're collaborating with Inland Ocean Coalition, and this event will be bilingual, where we will talk about trying to nudge these companies to stop putting mandarin oranges and now limes and lemons in this mesh packaging. And they're calling it an hour of organizing against plastic. It's on September 16th. I think I can put that in the chat. See if you can access it. And then I can also put just the campaign in there. It's a real short thing. It's got the blurb already for everybody for you to call. We're having most success with Sprouts and Whole Foods. And we're actually discovering that there are mandarin oranges out there that you can purchase without the mesh packaging. So we're trying to just highlight the good and try to keep them from doing the bad. So I'll put that in the chat too. Thank you.
Thanks, Maureen. And then the call to action with the script and the phone number to call is also in the agenda there. Are there any other groups out there that want to highlight what they're doing or share a call to action before we go to the breakout rooms?
I have something that I just got today. I was so excited at my natural food store. I usually don't take the receipts. I don't want that PFAs or whatever. Rolo receipts, BPA free, BPS free, all these. I mean, it feels different. It's awesome. So, I mean, hey,
That's great.
a
And
victory, I guess.
What store? What's the name of the?
It's a co-op natural food store in Minnesota.
It's started in Colorado and it's in Arizona, Minnesota, and a few other places.
Yay! Thank you.
that's great. I'm very happy about that. Melody, you want to add to this? Go ahead. Gotta unmute though. We can't hear you, Melody.
Sorry, this is a way out, but we're really excited. We just got the local movie theater to donate a theater for us to present Plastic and Health. It's April 2nd, but there's 99 seats in the theater, and we want to make sure it's all filled and overflowing. And this would be a perfect time also to have the book and be able to have people buy the book.
That's great. Would you want to share the event link in the chat and be sure to invite your local legislators as well?
Okay, will do.
Hey, Melody, where are you located?
Lexington, Virginia.
Okay, thank you.
Anyone else want to share upcoming events, victories? Marnie?
Hi, I'm Marnie Sinclair from Damerscott, Maine, and I'm working with Jane Herbert, who's a member of your group. And I'm just sitting in for her, but I'm also interested in what you're doing. So I possibly like to become a member myself. But also, I just wanted to let you know that we have a PFAS and microplastic art show in Cape Elizabeth, and I put all the information in the chat, but it's ongoing and it's really good. There are 15 artists from New England that are participating, and there's a lot of science involved also. So it's at the St. Albans gallery at the St. Albans Church in Cape Elizabeth. So there's a lot more information in the chat about that. But I hope those of you from Maine might be able to attend. It's interesting. So thank you.
Great to hear from you. This is Jim Willihan. I'm also from Maine. We live in Auburn and we're in Scarborough right now. One thing I want to suggest for everyone is that one of the jobs we got is to find alternatives to oil because we do need something like a new plastic, a better approach to things, and much less use. But there's something we could use. It used to be glass. Anything else we can use?
Well, often packaging can just be reduced. You don't, products come in excessive packaging that isn't needed, but paper, glass, those can be recycled, reused multiple times. So I definitely agree we have the materials that we already need. All right, let's go to the breakout rooms. We're gonna do artificial turf and plastic bands, or skip the stuff as usual, unless people want a third breakout room or some extra attention on something. So if you want to go to the turf room, Suzette just opened it. If you go to the three little dots and select breakout rooms, you should be able to see the turf room. If you want to do just skip the stuff / plastic bag ban, stay in this room. And if you need help and can't figure out how to get to the other room, just raise your hand and we can assign you to that as well. Marnie, do you want to go to the turf room? Okay, I'll send you there. Anyone else want to go to turf? Just raise your hand. Okay, Lisa. Okay, anyone else? Lori, want to go to turf? Okay. It takes a second. All right, so I will facilitate the plastic bag ban slash skip the stuff room that we're in. And I want to start with the question, who here is working on a policy campaign at this time? Paula, Stephen, Melody, Melody kinda?
We did before.
Mm-hmm.
And, okay.
Okay. And Jane, are you working on a policy campaign? Okay. And then who else? It was Melody and
Kind
Mark.
of. We are kind of, yeah.
Yeah. All right. So those who are working on a policy campaign, do you want to share where you're at with the group, what policy you're working on, and how it's going, how that campaign is going? Like, let's check in and see what the pulse is. Paula, you were nodding. You want to go first? Did I lose Paula?
Paula, you're on
She's
Oh,
mute.
you're muted. Sorry.
I'm Paula Wildermuth, and I'm just started up the Palm Desert local chapter group, and I'm working closely with the director, Susan Keith, in the Los Angeles, greater Los Angeles area, and we're working on Skip the Stuff. Interestingly enough, in 2021, a law was enacted, the Skip the Stuff law was enacted in California, and nobody knows about it. And so it's not being enforced at all. And it's just really it's really interesting that the way the law was written, there wasn't an agency designated to enforce it, and they just left it up to local jurisdictions. And so I basically have spent the whole day here in Riverside County talking with people in the environmental health department about it. Nobody even knows about the law, which is really incredible. So it's going to be really interesting to uh, to see uh, how this is going to all play out here in the Riverside County area, which is a large district, a lot of cities and everything. So that's all I have to report. So I'm interested to hearing how everyone else is doing, and maybe I can get some pointers on that will help me.
Thanks, Paula. And I know that Susan has a campaign plan on this. Do you
Yes,
have access to that?
I have it right here. Yeah, Susan and I had a conference
Yeah.
call a couple days, 2 days ago.
Do you
And
have do you have the digital one? Because I think people in this room would be interested to see it.
uh, it is actually, she just updated it and it's in the Google Docs. Do they have access to that?
I don't know. Let me see if I can find it.
Okay,
Um,
it's called Implement and Enforce California's 2021 Skip the Stuff Law. And I I don't have access to a digital uh, copy right now. She did a lot of updating, and this document that I have is a lot of holes in it. After we spoke, she went back and
yes,
that,
I have it here, and
okay.
I'm gonna drop a PDF in the chat because I think that people would be interested to see how the Susan is planning to go about this
Mhm.
campaign. Even though it's enforcement for an existing bill, I think it's still really helpful to see. So I'll put that in the chat. And then anyone want to ask any questions of Paula before we go on to the next person?
I just want to make one more comment too about Susan Keith's plan. She has really um, gotten together with a lot of other groups as well. It's on the document, but like Surf Rider, Heal the Bay, which is a big organization that I used to work for when I was in LA. the Center for Environmental Health. And so I think that's really powerful to join together with other groups. And that's what I plan on doing here as well.
Yeah, and Julie, do you want to ask a question?
I do. So Paula, has it, when they passed the law, was there any funding mechanism for the enforcement? Did it make it into the budget?
That's a good question, and I'm not sure. I was living in New York State during this time, and I don't have any information um, on the law.
Okay. A little bit of reading that I've done, it seems like there's a lot of good legislation, whether it's federal or state, that gets passed. People get, their wish list checked off.
Mhm.
But if it's not funded, then nothing, if there's no way to make sure it's enforced and it's not funded, that somebody's responsible for making sure that it happens, then it doesn't seem like it makes a difference at that point.
And this is a perfect example. This law that was put uh, that was enacted in 2021. Nothing, and it was really poorly written because, as Susan states in her thing, the state law does not prescribe how a local jurisdiction should designate an enforcement agency. So nothing has been done, and we have a couple of other laws, environmental laws out here that are similar. Nothing's happened because of that. It's a good point.
Yeah, probably that would be like a good thing to start working towards with the legislators. I mean, like, because if they put it in the budget, then there's money there.
Right.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.
Maureen?
Yeah, I'd like to follow up on what Julie just said. The state of Colorado has banned EPS, expanded polystyrene, which is styrofoam, and in our city of Fort Collins, you still see styrofoam everywhere. And there was a caveat in the law that said that a restaurant could use up the styrofoam that they already had on hand. So they're all using that excuse well over 6 months into the implementation of that state ban. So if you don't have oversight, people are going to do business as usual.
Mm-hmm. Stephen?
Yeah, I'm familiar with the Colorado law. I used to live in Colorado, and they made a mistake on purpose when they made that law, so that there was no enforcement mechanism. You're familiar with Colorado politics, so you know what I'm talking about. Arizona's even worse, where we're working on Skip the Stuff right here, and we're in the process of starting our promotional campaign with businesses, and we're trying to get a coalition of people together into something called Reuse Tucson as well, which I'm working with upstream as well on that. So the Sustainable Tucson Zero Waste Committee is working on these several things. But what we found with the Skip the Stuff is we're having to redesign it so it's very locally oriented. We have a saguaro in it, for example, with stuff hanging on the arms of the saguaro, all the stuff you don't want. And we're trying to get a list, which we now have just gotten a list from Local First Arizona of all of the members. So now we can contact businesses before we go to them and maybe get a hold of owners. I found in my commercial reusable box business that if you don't get a hold of the owner, the manager never gets the message to them. So that's the other thing is you need to get hold of the source of the decision making, whether it's the legislature or whether it's the owners of the businesses. So eventually we may have convinced the legislature through Reusable Tucson and Reusable Phoenix coalition or Reusable Tempe, I think now too, to try and get extended producer responsibility passed, or at least get a committee to look at it. That's going to take a while. And right now I'm trying to get health put into that, which nobody ever does with these EPS laws. So we'll see health through the food code of actually looking for PFAS and other things in plastic. That's what my research grant that I just put in right now is going to start on.
Thanks, Stephen. Great input. Jane or Melanie, do you want to share the policy campaign you're working on?
I will briefly say that Roanoke is 45 minutes south of us in Virginia, and they passed a plastic bag ban. It was, I don't know, 2018, maybe 19. And in Rockbridge County, in Virginia, we started working on a plastic bag ban. And then the pandemic happened, and the county supervisor said, we've got other things, you know, we can't do this right now. And so we haven't picked it up again. We are looking at a lawsuit we have 2 universities, and some whether we could have students do a lawsuit against plastic producers. And so we're starting to work on that.
And is the county plastic bag ban, is that something that you want to pick up again?
I'm really interested in looking at this digital plan. So I hope we can see that.
Yeah, and then we also have like a blank campaign planning worksheet that's always available. We kind of mention it in the trainings, we mention it in the meetings sometimes. But this campaign planning worksheet, which we adapted from one from Midwest Academy, kind of lays out all the different ways you can go about starting a campaign, and it's a good roadmap for getting ideas and kind of breaking the campaign into bite-sized chunks. And as Suzette is doing her listening tours, I think that it's a good opportunity to assess ideas for a policy campaign and talk to us about how you might go about it if that's something that you are interested in and you want our support on. You, Melody, and everyone else on the call who wants to do a policy campaign.
And I'll just add really quick, Melody, I worked on a bag ban in my community, and I've worked with a big coalition that we've passed about 30 bans in my part of Pennsylvania. So I'm happy to work with you one-on-one on that campaign.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Jane, do you want to share anything about your policy campaign? We'll go to Maureen first.
Okay, yeah, I just wanted to share with you guys, and Suzette, maybe I should also just, I don't know, get with you what you just said. So our water bottle ban is stalled because we kind of need to go through city council. I don't know if other bans meet this roadblock, but we have an election in November for a lot of city council members. And so we can't really do anything until we know who's going to be on the council. And the other thing is, while we're waiting, the American Beverage Association and the Colorado Beverage Association are in full force spreading lots of misinformation via multiple different ways. So we have even a harder road to follow, but we do have cities in Colorado and some in California that have passed these, and we're not giving up yet.
Please do share updates to the local groups and affiliates Google group, especially if you have any action items so that people on this call can take action to support and counter that industry influence. It is so frustrating that they just come out of the woodwork.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, I will do. And and maybe Suzette could share, or I could, yeah, pick her brain or whatever. There's a team member that's in charge of this, and I'll give her this information. So, yeah. Thank you.
Stephen?
Just a comments on some of the things that people are going through. We've had two speakers in the last two meetings with Sustainable Tucson, Heidi Landborn and Kimber Lanning, both highly successful people at getting things done. And both of them made the point that unless you get the business community involved in an economic way, you're not going to have a very easy road to do it. Heidi said that she feels her belief is that if they see the need for it, they'll do it. Kimber said, I can point out how the economics are better for them doing it rather than not doing it. So I think those are things to keep in mind when you make these campaigns. Is yes, you want to get rid of the plastic, but you need the cooperation eventually of the business community. And they have to be convinced that not only is it a waste problem for them, but it's an economic problem in the future.
I'm just going to tag on real quick because that's very true. In Telluride, where they've successfully passed a water bottle ban under a gallon, they had a staff member that went around to every business in Telluride. We don't have anyone here in Fort Collins that can do that. And our small group of 8 volunteers certainly cannot do it. And the city is not, I would say, interested in hiring someone to do that. So yeah, we definitely need some money to pay people to do this boots on the ground kind of activities. But anyway, thank you.
I think CSU has an environmental club. Are they interested in doing this?
Oh, we're all over it, hon.
Okay. All
Yeah.
right.
Thank you.
Jane Barnett, did you want to share? Go ahead.
Yes, we're in North Carolina in the Pinehurst, Southern Pines area, the Gulf area, but in fairly small cities here. Our climate crisis working group is an affiliate of Beyond Plastics, and we've been in business for almost 6 years now. And we do a lot of different things. We've shown the films, The Story of Plastic, and We're All Plastic People now. Last year and the year before, to a theater that will hold 190 or so, and we have a very good attendance when we show those free films. We just advertise it as well as we can with posters and news issues. North Carolina is interesting with the bags because we have legislators who passed a law saying that local cities and counties cannot have a law banning plastic bags. I mean, really. So there's no point in going to the local law people about, legislate or city councils and all, because they can't have a law like that in North Carolina. But we have had a lot of petitions at our various tenting events and things where people have signed petitions wishing that they would do away with them. And we do have one of our store brands that does give a nickel or something back if you don't use the plastic bags. But we don't get anywhere talking to the stores. We've tried to get them to move on to the national or corporation, and they just get nowhere. But we give out the bags. We had our own made with our logo on them, and with a lot of information in them. And the local Harris Teeter shopping center has given us massive numbers of their pretty bags. And when we have an event, we give those away to people, trying to encourage them not to use the plastic. My question, and also on the skip the stuff and that sort of thing, we choose a business, a restaurant or a little food place or something, and we will give them a better business logo that we've gotten made to put on their window. And we'll put an article in the paper about them when they do get that, for their use of plastics and giveaways and things that they do if we find them being exemplary in that department. So that's just a little initiative for them. But I was asking about the plastic bags that the Trex, and I'm interested in seeing your scientific thing on building materials. The Trex challenge to collect 1,000 pounds of plastic film and get a bench from Trex if you get 1,000 pounds. We've had a couple of campaigns here where people will do that, and it does make you very aware of how much plastic you have when you have a bag this big and it weighs 3 pounds. And one of our civic clubs did that, and they collected 1,000 pounds. And now there's a school that's doing it and trying to collect 1,000 pounds. So the question is, how bad is it for Trex to be making their decking and railing out of things that have plastic chewed up in it? You know, it sounds like a good idea to upcycle something, I guess you'd say, into a useful product. But I don't know what the harm is to have people sawing that stuff, you know, when it's made with plastic bits in it. I just don't know.
Yeah, I would like to address that a couple things. So, I think it really shows that people want to do the right thing. People want to recycle their materials. They don't like throwing things in landfills. Anyone who's had to clean out a family member's house knows that we don't like to throw stuff away. Like, but with plastic bags, a better term would be downcycling, because turning the plastic bags into furniture is not displacing new plastic bags from being produced. So it's not actually true recycling. And then, yes, as far as the sawing of the decking, it releases tons of microplastics, and the decking sheds microplastics as it's sitting there in the sun. It's breaking down, it's leaching chemicals, leaching gases, and it's also a fire hazard because it's made from petrochemicals. There was a really interesting article a couple of years ago. I could probably dig it up, but it found that houses, when they catch fire, burn down faster now because everything in our house is made of petrochemicals. And it's literally lighter, it's like lighter fluid. It just burns really well and it burns hotter. So, like, the amount of time you have to get out of your house if it catches fire is significantly less than it used to be because of all the plastic in our houses. So, yes, I think Trex is greenwashing. But it's a hard message to counter because it makes people feel good. So you don't want to go out and, like, kind of, it's hard to be that person who's like, this is greenwashing, even though you're trying to do the right thing. Did somebody want to add to that? I saw there was a hand up a second ago.
You said it.
Yeah. All right. Thank you for sharing that, Jane. And I love your initiative to put the stickers in the windows of businesses that do well. I think that's a great way to go about talking to them. So if you have a digital copy of that you want to share in the chat so other people can see your template and how you go about it, please, by all means, share that. I see a hand up in the corner.
Laurie, who was on earlier, is our leader, and she would be the one who could do that, but she went to the one on turf.
Okay. Well, you can always share it in the Google group. Everyone on here should be added to it. If you want to, people are always welcome to share resources with each other on that Google group, and I'll put the address in the chat. You just have to email it. And I see a hand up. I know your name's not Catherine, but
It's not, it's Jim. How are you?
Good.
Maine went through the process of looking at plastic bags about a dozen years ago. And We run 6 family shoe stores, been doing it since 1914 when my dad started it. And I'm now 87 retired, but Maine was able to eliminate plastic bags entirely. And that's exciting. And in our stores, we eliminated all bags. We don't give up bags. We give them a box full of shoes, and they say thank you, and they're out the door, and that's just fine. And if they have any trouble with that, we'll carry them out to their car for them.
Nice.
It
And
works.
yes, New York also has a full ban on plastic bags.
And working with the Chamber of Commerce, if you can get them to be part of it, can be a very good thing. You got to work inside, and you can find these companies who will say, "Yeah, we'll go along with that."
I love everything that's been shared here tonight and hearing about what everyone is working on. The creativity is like really popping in the room, and I love that. We're at 7:30 now, so we're at an hour. If you want to drift away, that's fine. But if you also want to share something and haven't had a chance, please, by all means, go ahead.
I'm going to make one more small comment about getting businesses in on these things. Arizona is the same as North Carolina. The state won't let us do a bag ban or anything like that, but unless they do it first. But they do not prohibit incentives. So if the city council or county or any other nonprofit group wants to do it, they can provide incentives to businesses that will apply as a anti-fee, shall we say it, for every one that they don't give out. Or if they choose not to give out any at all, then they get rewarded. Now that money has to come from somewhere, but cities and counties oftentimes have funds available for incentives for businesses that are not regulated by state law.
Thank you for that insight. And I think the other Stephen wanted to say something.
Yes, I took my own little crusade to go ahead and try to get some of the grocery stores and food co-ops not to have plastic bags all over the store to put your vegetables in. And we haven't had a lot of success there. Now, I know one of the big grocery stores here has small paper bags at the cash register. So has anybody come up with a way to go ahead and leverage the idea that little less plastic might be a lot better and get the stores to go ahead and put some of their paper bags that they already have and a cost analysis of one versus the other? Because I think the major grocery stores, if it only costs them a penny more for a paper bag than a plastic bag, might go ahead and be able to be convinced. I've seen some other things for ideas that are posted on the group chat, and I haven't had a chance to look at everything that's on the Beyond Plastics website. And that's in a month of being an affiliate, trying to read everything with everything else I have to do. Is there anything out there as far as guidance or recommendations to help accomplish businesses stopping the use of plastic bags? Because the big grocery store, they would rather you use one of their bags that they sell you for $1 and has their advertising on it. But although it's not a 15-minute plastic bag, it's made out of plastic.
Mm-hmm. We don't have anything like that to my knowledge. We just have our toolkit for plastic bag bans, but it's a policy toolkit. So it has like a sample petition and in it. That's something you could do as a petition to a store. And that's kind of what Maureen is doing with the tangerine nuts. Or have
I
or encourage people to call the store about plastic bags.
I had an idea that, especially with the food co-ops, if we could go ahead, or if there was already a survey of their users that you could go ahead and give to them to distribute, then they could go ahead and get votes back that 85% or 90% of all the people that shop here really don't want plastic bags. And then once they see that, maybe they would get off their butts and do something.
Mhm.
Well, somebody would have to, manage that survey and do it, but there is a great survey on consumer attitudes about plastic from the Shelton Group, and it's really insightful. You could definitely share this with stores. I'm going to put it in the chat.
Okay. Can you post it on the Google Docs? Because it's a lot easier to go ahead and find it there than to go through all the chat.
To post it on like the Google group, you mean like in the email?
Yes.
Sure.
Thank you.
Yep. Julie?
Hi, I have been contacting my local newspaper, the Arizona Republic. I've been trying to contact them since July 15th. And all I wanted initially was I wanted to get information on like, because it doesn't rain in my town like 350 days a year. It doesn't rain. And I get my newspaper delivered in a plastic bag almost every single day. So, all I was starting to do was to try and contact the right department so that I could determine, first of all, like, what's their policy? They tell me their policy is to do whatever the customer wants, and I had them read my directions and they had it correct. Only put it in a plastic bag if it's raining.
Mm-hmm.
But they're not following their own directive.
Mm-hmm.
So I was looking to talk to somebody who is in a decision-making position about how do they make the policy? How do they follow it? Who's paying for the bags? Is it the Gannett? Is it the carrier, the like the newspaper guy who's throwing the paper out? I just wanted to ask general things like that. And I've left multiple messages because you can't call them directly. And I'm going to develop a way to figure out how to get through them because they're not calling me back at all. But did anybody ever talk about like does anybody know about newspaper delivery? Who does pay for it in general? Anybody know anybody at Gannett?
Well, if you buy the newspaper, you pay for it,
Well, but
even if you don't want it.
yes. But the fact of the matter is that I don't want it. It's still I don't pay extra to have it in a plastic bag. So somebody is literally either Gannett's paying to have everybody's bag, and I suspect the reason they're doing it is so that they can toss the newspaper and not worry so much about sprinklers hitting the paper. And so maybe it's cheaper for them to bag everybody rather than to have to go back and redeliver X number of papers a day. So, but I just, in general, does anybody have any experience with newspapers in plastic bags?
I have experience with it, and I think the reason they do it is exactly what you said. If they just throw it out, the sprinklers get it wet. I mean, when I was living in Northern California, that happened all the time. Our newspaper would be wet, and I had to call, and the carriers turn around, like every other week, there's a new carrier. So we always had to make phone calls. It's not that we wanted it in a plastic bag, but otherwise we would have a soggy paper. So we had to request that. They didn't do that normally. It was something we had to request, but I would suggest going to the corporate headquarters of Gannett and tell them your problem and who should you speak to.
Mm-hmm.
And I
Yeah.
think you might have some luck there.
I might actually have to physically go down because the phone calling isn't working at this point in time. So, but thank you.
All right. Thanks for jumping in there, Paula. I think that's everything, unless there's any final comments. Feel free to drift away. I'm going to leave it open because I think the artificial turf room is still going. They tend to go for a while. So if you want to jump over to artificial turf now and catch the end of their conversation, go ahead. Otherwise, I'm just going to turn off my camera so I can leave the Zoom open.
Alexis, excuse me.
yeah.
I have a quick question and I
Of
can,
course.
who
Yeah, I can
handles?
stay. No worries.
No, it's not about anything, but it flashed on my screen while we were
Mhm.
talking. I had to cancel on my credit card today. We just finished it before I hopped on this call. Didn't want to do it because on the 10th of every month, my contribution to Beyond Plastic, but someone over in Lithuania is having a great time shopping on my
Oh.
credit card. So at any rate, ironically, when the call was going on, it says, thank you for your contribution, the monthly thing. So who do I contact?
Eve Fox.
Oh, Eve. Okay, Eve. Oh, okay.
Mhm.
Okay, great.
And thank you for your contribution.
Get an Apple Card. They're made out of titanium.
Oh, you can't hack those? No. I don't know how this person in Lithuania got my credit card, but anyways, they've been having a lot of fun.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm gonna hop off. Bye, everyone.
Bye,
Thank you.
everyone.
Bye,
Thank you.
everybody.
Bye-bye.